Okay, now we're live. I have no idea how that happened. All right, we're live.
I mean, is it as long as it's working, right?
Yeah, that's a really weird bug.
Mm, obviously, I will turn on Audacity just to make sure.
Yes, please. I'm not even recording through
Zencaster.
Yeah, and it's coming out super blurry on fucking YouTube. Why are we so blurry? Oh my god. We have that woman in the chat. Uh,
Hey guys, totally not that guy. Just
Dude, why is it so blurry? This is driving me crazy. Is it super blurry for you guys too in the chat? Or is this just my internet right now? Oh no, I think it's just my iPad. I think we're good. Yeah, it's just my iPad that's being shitty. Oh, you actually look really good. Damn.
did you restart the YouTube because it's not letting me pull up?
So it's a different chat. I don't know how to get this chat. Um
Okay.
yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know how
Okay.
to cuz I had to go through another route for
Okay. I'll just
let me see
I'll
if I
just go to
could
YouTube.
try and get it. I don't know how to get it.
No, that's okay. I'm just gonna go to YouTube and I'm just gonna pull up the stream.
Yeah,
Taking Dexter,
I'm
scanning
sorry.
teeth, live now.
It's actually annoying for me too because I don't know where the chat is.
I'm gonna make sure I mute it. There we go, mute because that was gonna be annoying as fuck.
Yeah, this is going to be annoying cuz I'm not going to be able to read the chat. This stinks.
I mean, I can pull it, I can read it, but it's not easy. It's not nearly as easy.
Oh, I have it down low.
Oh, okay.
I have it like yeah, so just so it's side there. All right, let me see. Hello, 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 Jacob. Hello, Jen. Hello, that woman, that guy, Roxanne. I can't believe that guy and that woman. That's everyone keeps asking about season 2, New Blood. We have season 2 of that guy and that woman. Wow. Um so chat, go ahead and talk your shit so we can start incorporating it into the episode once we start. Um
Now, see, my question is that guy really married to that woman, or is that guy that insane that he created an alternate account for that woman,
so
and he's pretending to be married? I or is it both?
so
Oh,
what's funny about that is I thought I knew who that guy was, and it turns out I don't, unless that guy is playing some really long joke on me. So
it's Andy Kaufman.
it,
Turns out he
you
is
know,
alive.
um, insane is the answer. Yeah. Hey, that guy, are you ever you gonna tell us at the end, who you are? 'Cause
Oh, that'll be the big reveal.
well, I'm curious. Do I know them? Him? Her? He? She? Or is it just like someone who weirdly likes
He's
us?
talking about likes my haircut. It's not a haircut. It's I took a bath for once before I did a recording.
Took a bath.
Well,
Take a
shower, but
friend
yeah.
home. Took a bath. I'll turn around. I feel it on my bones.
It was my monthly shower. Thanks, Roxanne.
Chris, what's up? Welcome to the chat. Thank you for joining us. Colton, before we actually start recording the podcast, and I guess for the chat, and this may bump up our time, but I read last week. It was a comment that there's two reasons why I think it holds weight. It got deleted rather quickly,
Hmm.
and this episode really lends to this. some guy who said he works at Showtime revealed how the end of the season happens. So,
Ooh,
do
we
you
got a leak.
yeah,
I no,
but it got
no. I don't know nothing.
no. What I'm saying is, do you want to hear it?
Um,
Because let me preface it like this. When I read it last week, I was like, I don't know, doesn't really hold weight. After this episode ended, I was like, oh, I think that dude is so right. I think that was someone who works at Showtime, probably just a pissed off, fucking data entry guy who knew about it, and that's why the
that's a
comments got
fucked up thing to
deleted.
do.
So that's why I'm asking,
That's a
do you
fuck.
want to hear it? And if not, um, you know, put it this way.
Well, I'm worried that if I say I want to hear it, there's something maybe I'm getting from this episode that I'm gonna be like, oh, this is kind of interesting, and then like later on, people will be like, well, you didn't fucking know that shit. It's just because you heard the rumor all of a sudden. You know what? Let's do it. Let me hear it. Let me spoil away. Let's do it. I'm gonna treat this like 7-day-old fish that's been sitting out. Let's spoil. Come on.
Um, so I don't see. Some people don't want to hear it, so I don't know how to do this. Do I? I'm gonna do this. Okay.
Do this while you're holding your hand up.
Right.
Spoiler.
That means I'm talking.
While it
I'm
goes
gonna do
when
my.
it goes down,
I'm
we're
gonna
done.
do my cup. Oh, that doesn't show through here. Okay, so if I do hands up, okay. So guys, this is how we're gonna do it. If you're watching, it will be a 2 minutes tops. If I'm holding my hands up, that means I'm still doing spoiler. Once I put my hands down, everyone can come back in and talk. This is not going to be on the podcast. This is just for the live chat. I'm sorry, and thank you, Joe Schmo, for joining the podcast, the chat. But
That's a good name.
it is a good name.
Congratulations on that one.
It's,
Yeah,
it's,
that's a good
it's,
one.
it's better than that guy. All right, so I'm gonna start speaking now, and once my hands are down, everyone can join back in. Let's just try to get through this quick. Okay.
Yeah.
Spoiler here. This won't be on the podcast. This is just for the live chat, the live stream. It's a comment I read. The guy said he worked at Showtime. The reason why, someone asked, hey, is there going to be a season 2? This guy said, I work at Showtime, so I know how it all ends. They said, okay, how does it end? And here we go. Once my hands are down, everyone can join back in. So what the guy said is, the way the season ends is Harrison commits suicide in the bathtub the same way Rita does. Because hold on, let me do this quick because this way I can get everyone back in.
Sorry.
This because he doesn't live, he has all this anger in him. He can't live up to like Dexter's. He just doesn't think he like fits with Dexter. He's like so sad that he can't be acceptable in Dexter's world because he has all this anger. He thinks he wants to hurt people all the time, so he has this whatever. So he eventually kills himself the same way Rita does. Well, he kills himself in a bathtub like how Rita died. I know Rita didn't commit suicide, but so
Correct.
The reason why I say that this episode, I completely forgot about it, but what made me, the way this episode ends with how Harrison is saying like, oh my God, I all I want to do is hurt people and I remember everything, makes me think that guy was telling the truth, and I do think that's how this episode ends. You probably have a ton of thoughts on that, as did I.
I don't want to talk about it
Okay.
though because I want this to go fast. So
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Interesting. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay. Hands down.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
So
type in
no
the
more
chat.
spoiler talk. But to find out that his brother's not really dead, that's crazy. Oh my God.
And you think like, okay, so someone embalmed the ice truck killer and he came back to life. Yeah, it's crazy.
It works though. It works. And Duncan MacLeod actually comes back in and go into the Highlander shit. I believe it though. If they really did get Queen to come and do the soundtrack, I believe it though. Yeah.
I mean, when
good Reddit find.
When Freddie Mercury walks back onto the kill room, and David Bowie is sitting right there catching him. Crazy.
I'm not gonna lie. Let's trademark this shit right now.
Just please guys, don't discuss it in the chat just because
Nope.
there are
people that don't
want to
hear it.
I thought it was worthy of bringing up. All right, want to start the pod?
Yeah,
I
let's
feel
do it.
I feel like that's something like we should do tonight. All right.
We're only 20 minutes late.
All right. On the count of 3, we'll hit
Hold on, let me get it
record
pulled
on
up.
Audacity.
Okay.
All right. On the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm live.
I'm live.
All right. Oh boy. That guy. I don't buy that they're gonna have the season ending in the MCU.
Dude, can you imagine?
That'd be funny. There's a cutscene and the Hulk is there. Dylan, welcome. Balance of Thought, welcome. Thank you guys, all of us, for joining. Let me get into the podcast because I actually want to say something regarding the chat and everything. So, okay, we're recording already. All right, you ready?
Mhm.
This is Victor, and now that he's back from letting out all the sheep in town, I am joined by Colton. Colton, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
This is the last time we get
I'm
to talk to
excited.
everyone before Christmas, so
Mhm.
Merry Christmas. Next week will be the day after Christmas. Explaining to you how a calendar works. Ep.7, Skin of Her Teeth. Before we get into the actual episode, there's some stuff I want to bring up before we get into the actual episode. Crazy, we only have 3 more of these, and it's just like all of a sudden it's like, oh my god, first episode, second episode. All of a sudden we have 3 episodes left. Just kind of crazy how quick
I know.
it all goes. First thing I want to bring up, Slip from Slipmaker fame episode. He just released probably about an hour before we started to record. Released one of his retrospectives on the Americans. So just
I need to watch that.
just wanting to promote other people who support us, etc., etc.
Mhm.
Want to throw that out there. Second thing I wanted to go ahead.
No, I really need to watch that show. I want to watch Sopranos first. I need to get to that first, but I really want to watch The Americans. I've been told it was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all. Just one of those things. I should have watched it, and I just never got around to it for some reason.
Damn, the baby woke up. I hope Marissa can take him. Eek.
Damn that baby.
Second thing I wanted to bring up. A couple of weeks ago, I had said on the podcast, like, oh my God, I get so many messages about people wanting to talk Dexter, and it gets a little draining. And talking with a few people, they kind of said, hey, I sort of scaled back from messaging you because it kind of sounded like you were annoyed about getting messages. And I feel bad because I didn't want it to come off like that. I don't want to explain it further, but what I would recommend, or what we could try and do, because this way you don't just have my selfish, stupid thoughts replying to you, is write on our Facebook page, because you'll get other people responding. Because I have a long Reddit thread with this guy on Reddit. I think his name was Big L54, and I almost had him on the podcast. It just stuff didn't work out, but we're talking about a lot of stuff, and it's just like, it's cool we're having one-on-one, and I appreciate it, but like, we can have more of a bigger discussion with other people. Facebook just seems to be the most communal. Instagram, it's not like everyone sees it. So, yeah, and I apologize if I sounded like I was offended or upset that people were messaging me. I really appreciate it, but there's only so much of me to go around, whereas if you post on the Facebook, other people can.
We're on there, like we get on there.
Yeah,
we get on there, like, yeah.
God, the chat. Yeah. So just again, I apologize for that, but definitely if we want to have like a Dexter chat, definitely run on Facebook, because Colton checks it, I check it, and I know other people see the Facebook and whatnot. Because like one of the craziest things, someone just wrote on a Digging 6 Feet Under wall. And all of a sudden, like, other people started hopping in. I was like, oh my, I forgot about all these people, because 6 Feet Under was, I finished the podcast X amount of years ago. So I just wanted to say that. Last thing, and we're getting back into the Dexter New Blood realm. I realized last week after we recorded, after we got off the air, that I think part of the reason why I am somewhat frustrated with this season, let alone this episode, um, do you understand me when I say there's some rom-com elements to this season where if Dexter and Harrison just talked, everything would be settled? And what I mean by that is, like, you know how like in a rom-com the guy is accidentally with the sister like in the dressing room, and
Yeah.
the whole movie it's just like if they just explained to her that this happened, this whole movie would have not happened. I'm starting to feel
Yeah.
like that's what is bothering me about New Blood this season. I know I'm bringing up a large point before we even get into the episode, um, but I think that's what was bothering me last week, especially saying how Dexter could talk to Angela, but he can't talk to Harrison. And I just like,
Hmm.
if these two people just fucking sat down and just talked, and not one of them always running away, this season would be like so much clearer, if
Right.
that makes sense. Any thoughts on that, or do you feel the same? Am I nitpicking there?
Um, I wouldn't say you're nitpicking. I can definitely see that complaint in it. I guess, and I 100% see. I do see what you're complaining about on it. I'm not, I guess, that annoyed with it because I'm like, well, maybe there's a reasoning that they're going, with this, like, yeah, sorry if my camera goes out.
Yeah.
Maybe there's just something, there's a reason that they're going with this. Like, it's hard for them to talk and stuff like that for a reason. I'm hoping that it ends up paying off in the end, that there's like a motive maybe behind that,
Right.
but I don't know that for certain. So like I'm like I said, I'm trying to stay off of all the spoiler stuff and things like that, not including what I just heard. That was probably one of the first things that we just talked about. But I'm kind of hoping that's more like in line with what it's going on in this. Now, what I will say is annoying me in this, and it has been from the beginning on it, is not from the very beginning, but here from kind of towards the beginning of it, has been my annoyance with that. And this might sound like I'm about to start nitpicking, but it's like they're trying to add in every little thing to appease the fans. And I'm just like, dude, I get it. Like, I get it. Let's add in this person. Let's add in this little bit of oh, you know that there's going to be Trinity, right? Bum bum bum. Like, oh, Harrison's gonna show up. Oh, that here's Angel, and I get it that there's a reasoning behind it because you are making this for the fans because of what the shit they had to deal with and stuff like that. Um, that's honestly what's annoyed me more than anything, and I'll get into that actual part of it here in a little bit whenever we get to some of the more other stuff on it. So yeah.
Okay. I could hear that. So let's sort of dig right into the actual episode. Thoughts on this episode?
If I leave real quick, and I'm sorry, this is horrible for the podcast. If I leave out of the Zoom meeting and I come right back in, is that going to mess up with the podcast,
No.
the video feed?
As long as
Okay.
yeah, as long as you stay in the Zencaster, so everyone could hear you.
Okay, cool. All right, keep going then, because I can hear you.
Okay. I'll do my thoughts then while you come back in. So I feel like this episode is somewhat the first time I started to think again that like it's not possible to do Dexter episode 103 and have a good story. I think they are just
Fair enough.
there's a limit to the character. They stretch that character from episode 1 to 96, and we're just going to have to, and I've been saying this quite a few times this season, there's just huge leaps of logic that we just have to accept and roll on. That being
That's
said,
fair.
that being said, I am placing this in the this episode was okay bin. Your overall thoughts before we get into the episode.
Um, and I'm sorry about my video.
You're fine.
I look just like god awful. Sorry, I'm trying to get everything on this thing going right. Um, man, I was gonna message you and I held off on it.
Same.
I'll tell you right now, I don't dislike it, but I don't like it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that's about all. And I'll get into some of it though. I'm kind of laughing about, and I'll get into it in a little bit because some of it I'm kind of like, man, y'all trolled some people, and I think it's kind of funny. But there's some key elements to the story in this which really pissed me the f off. Um, but then there's also some other stuff that I really this is mediocre Dexter, above normal mediocre Dexter. I'll say that. But of this season, it is definitely not my favorite.
It does have me a little bit worried how we're going to end the final 3 episodes. And I'm just going with that.
100%.
These are the final 3 episodes. I'm ignoring if there's going to be a season 2 or not. It does have me a little bit worried. I feel
I'll
like...
tell you right now, if they try to go for a season 2, if they legitimately pull this out to try to go for a season 2, I'll actually be pissed. Because they went into this as they made it very apparent from the start of it. This is a limited run, special edition, blah, blah, blah. We are going to give the fans what they wanted. We're going to close it out with dignity. If you don't close it out with dignity, and you continue on for a season 2. Now, if they do a continuation of another form of Dexter or something like that, I can maybe be behind it. But if you do a season 2 New Blood, I'll be pissed. I'm just gonna be honest. I'll be pissed. Like, takes place here. It's exactly the same thing and stuff like that, but minus a character or two or something like that. Then that's just Dexter. That's all it is.
So
and I'm not cool with it.
So some to what we're speaking, and again, we sort of faced this last episode where we're in that weird spot of like all these questions have to be answered. And like Seed of Chucky saying in the chat, episode felt like it had limits on it because it was a setup to the final 3, and that may be. I just feel like we took some of those huge leaps of logic to get to certain places that just didn't feel satisfying. On the season 2 talk, the only way it can't Dexter has to die. If Dexter doesn't die at the end of episode 10, I'm almost close to saying I won't continue the podcast because it can't. We had 106 episodes with Dexter / Jim Lindsay. His story is told. They've put him in every situation we could think of. I would be shocked. I'm going to say this here. I would be shocked if at the end of the 10th episode, Dexter is not dead. I can't understand why you would bring back this and not kill him at the end.
The only way I would remotely be forgiving if they didn't kill him is if, like, you better do some damn good story, but it still closes out his story. Like, either he's arrested, which I don't know if I'd really be happy with that.
He has
but
to
I'd
be
be
dead.
like, okay,
he has to be dead.
Yeah. The only other thing is, no, that's it. That's the only thing. That's it. I can't think of anything else.
Whoever kills him, I don't know. Whatever. But he just has to be dead at episode's end. I don't care. A Harrison spinoff is a topic for another day, etc., etc. If this season does not end with Dexter being dead, to me it's I don't want to go there. It has to happen. Let's get into the episode.
Yeah, let's go.
Skin of her teeth. Our episode starts last week. I'm sorry. Our episode started where last week's ended, where Dexter is back to his roots again in Miami, sort of doing forensic investigating. Something that we started talking about at the beginning of the season, and it's tailed off, and I feel like it came back stronger this episode. Do you hear like those hints / tones of the blood theme from the Dexter original?
Yeah.
I wish they would have brought more of that back. I didn't want Daniel Lick music back, but I wish they would have done more of these because there's a few like iconic little tunes that when this pops up, I'm like, oh wow, this is fan service, I guess, that I'm okay with.
That I'm okay. I'm actually okay with that fan service because you're changing it up just enough where it's like, cool,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
I like this. Yeah.
So Dexter is able to surmise that she was shot from the back at a distance, was still alive when placed here, and most importantly, is able to extract a tooth that may or may not have Kurt's DNA on it. And I think,
Hmm.
speaking as I just spoke right now, I think I realized that's where the episode title comes from, the skin of her teeth. Didn't even realize
Yeah,
that.
I when he pulls that out, I was like, and he says something on it, like the flesh in her teeth or something like that. I was like, I'm a fucking idiot. I had to see the title come up, and then I was like, skin of her teeth, son of a bitch, I'm a moron. It's like that's a good title. It's a really good title. Sorry, yeah,
No, no, I'm with
I'm
you.
an idiot, but
Um,
God, it's a good title.
Dexter is having breakfast with Harrison the next day, and
Hmm.
this is a personal Victor exclusive gripe that I don't know if you share, and I'd be interested if you do. I am so sick and tired of them showing that Harrison and Dexter eat the same. I fucking get it. They both eat like they haven't
Was it
eaten
your
in years.
Twitter?
What's that?
Was it your Twitter? Which one was it? I saw you commented on something. You were like, you're like his lips. I get it. He eats like Dexter, but he chews with his fucking lips, and it annoys.
No, that
You
wasn't
were
me.
so.
That wasn't
It
me.
was.
No.
It was someone commented, and I was dying. I was like, damn, Victor really doesn't like the way this guy eats. But after you did that, I watched it on this episode, and I was like, he's sitting there like going like this. I was like, oh god. I was
I'm
like, this is. I
it's never see, I don't think that was me because
I'm almost
it's not
positive it
it's not the way they're chewing. It's that has nothing to do with it. It's all about the fact that they shovel food in their mouth. But what they're
maybe
doing
that
is
was the way you.
they're showing how they're similar, and it's like I understand you've done that for 7 episodes.
Well, look. I mean, this isn't good podcasting, but for this, I can't do the thing. They're wearing the same outfit. There, I can do thumbs up, right?
Yeah.
Wearing the same outfit. We got kind of. He's got that same haircut that teenage Dexter has, right? And they're using their hands, and then not only that, did they move the table and stuff like that? First off, if anybody's had kids, nothing is that similar. Like me and my daughter, we have a lot of weird similarities and stuff like that, but I'm not doing all of this. Like I don't know. Maybe I will agree with you on that. I'm a
It's just
little.
it's almost every episode they eat or one of them eats, and we just see this. I get it. It's this fast shoveling into the mouth. They have 7 spoons of food in their mouth. And again, this is just a personal, stupid nitpick of mine. It's just when they did it this episode, I was just, I like out loud, I literally said, "Oh God, I get it. You guys eat the same." God. Anyway, um,
Just go on, Mari. Go ahead and get the DNA test just to prove it. Shit, we get it.
J- Jacob in the chat commented that I commented with his upper lip tucks. So yeah, that wasn't
Oh,
me. That
okay,
was
maybe that
Jacob.
was what it was.
Because
It
again,
was something I remember seeing. Somebody was pissed. I was like, okay, God. All right,
um,
Jacob, it was you. You were pissed.
Harrison is off to work his first shift at Kurt's truck stop,
Mhm.
and I think this is one of 2 Deb appearances. Um, and we're getting less Deb this week, which I hope that just means we're getting more of her. Uh, the irony of Deb, I hadn't had time to flush out this thinking. Uh,
Do we get two of her in this?
I,
I
I,
thought
I
this
I
was
think
only
it's in
one.
the beginning when
Uh-huh.
she might be again. I apologize. But I love the irony of
I can't
Deb
remember. Yeah.
that when she was alive, she always wanted to tell Dexter, "Let the cops handle it," and now
Uh-huh.
she's sort of like teasing Dexter, like, "Yeah, let the cops handle it. I'm sure nothing will go wrong." And then we see that, blood
Well,
thing again.
well, and I actually had something on that. So remember that she does this whole thing where it's like, yeah, I'm sure the cops can handle it. Don't worry about it and stuff like that, like real sarcastically and stuff like that. Um, because as we know, real Deb was all like, yeah. Remember that because I want to get back to this in a little bit.
Okay.
Because I thought there was a cool little connection actually that was done in this. But again, Deb is probably one of the best parts of the episode. Like again, what was it? Whatever she says, something like, yeah, the blood, like just it's really cheap CGI, but it's like they're using their budget well because it's like you don't need to have like the wound all of a sudden showing or a gunshot or something. It's really impactful just by having that blood like slowly like show and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And it's like okay, I get it CGI, I'm really not nitpicking on this, but that little like what I don't know, but how long is the blood shown on the screen? Like 2 seconds at the
If that.
most, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, super powerful. Like
Yeah.
does a wonder on that entire scene. One of my favorite scenes of the whole episode, right there.
Dexter tips off Angela about Kurt's cabin and how Dexter actually got to this cabin. I like that this will come back. How Dexter even found this and his
Hmm.
his part in it. And Kurt's cabin is completely stripped down.
Hmm.
I don't want to spend time on it, but I wonder how much time Kurt had to do this. And something I didn't even think of is where did he put everything? Because if it's such a small town, and Angela said she was going to go check
Hmm.
dumpsters and whatnot, but um, so Kurt just completely destroys this place.
Hmm.
I guess we have to table that for later in the episode. A quick scene of Audrey and Harrison, and is it just me or I feel like the fallout from last episode that I thought was a big deal of Harrison breaking that kid's arm, that there was
It's
no
literally brought up like
well,
two set like
she's
yeah.
the only one who says like, "Hey, man, like I think there's something up here. You broke a you broke a you broke it. Yeah,
Broke a dude's arm. You completely ruined a guy's entire future by possibly not getting a scholarship and doing all this shit. You okay?
but like that's it. It seemed like such a big moment last episode. In this, so it was kind of like that.
The only
That's
other
it.
time it's brought up is those guys towards the end, but that's it.
Hmm.
And that's more for another effect. But yeah,
And like yeah, Jen saying in the chat, he used his minions. They burned it up, the incinerators, and that's when he found the titanium screws from Matt's leg. Um, I agree with everything minus the Matt's leg part. But yeah, I forgot like Kurt has like a little team that works with him, so I guess they could have helped him, and that's how they could have got rid of that. Um, Dexter.
I just
Uh
I
huh.
just don't believe the time. I just don't believe the time frame of it. As somebody that just had remodeling done in my bathroom, and it took us 2 months to have that, the demo work alone was like 5 days.
Well,
So
I'm just assuming he ripped everything out. Again, this is a really silly point to bog down on, but
I know it is, but I'm just like I agree on it because I was like,
yeah.
yeah, that's really kind of pushing it, but okay.
Oh God, there's just so much funny shit in the chat. If every time I read the chat, I repeated it. It's not CGI, it's Deb GI. Dexter half checking in on Harrison, half trying to spy on Kurt. Kurt shows up, and Dexter is sort of teasing Kurt about Matt. I am
Hmm.
I am gonna hold. If you could see my hand here, this is me holding it. Um, Last week I brought up a theory, and that guy made fun of me, and you disagreed with me, and that theory was 100% correct. But we'll get to that in just a bit. Do you know what I'm talking about, or no?
I actually don't. Bring it up again. I'll admit
Uh,
whenever I'm wrong. So bring it up again. I just don't remember.
no. That Kurt, the reason why he was getting close to Harrison is because he knew Dexter had something to do with his son, Matt.
I don't remember you saying that, but I would have
Yeah.
100%. I will say this: I would have 100% last week said no. There's no way. So I don't remember you saying that,
Uh-huh.
but I 100% I would have said there's no way.
The reason
So
why I said it and the reason it sparked a conversation between us last week was like we were saying why is Kurt interested in Harrison at all, and you were taking the side of like this is kind of what Kurt does. He did it with Logan.
yeah, I
I
remember. Yes,
I was
yes.
kind of like and the reason why I found it funny and why I remembered it is because that's where that guy started saying Colton just said it's Friday, so I know it's not Friday. He just started going everything against you. And then when I said, and you said you both thought Kurt had nothing to do with it, he's like, fuck, I don't know what to do. I agree
Yeah,
with
I
Colton.
do remember this now. Yeah, I remember that now.
um, but more importantly, as they're talking and we're they're about to have this talk about everything about Matt, they get interrupted as Kurt gets arrested.
It's like blew my mind. I was not expecting that to happen that fast.
The only reason why, well, I'm sorry, I actually watched the preview, so I knew he got arrested. I just,
Oh,
but
okay.
I knew it wasn't gonna stick. I mean, when has an arrest ever stuck in the Dexter universe? They always get out. You know what I mean?
Right.
Um,
No, I knew. Once he was arrested, I was like, okay, there's gonna be something to get him out of this.
mhm.
I don't know what. I was like, there'll be something that'll happen, but it still kind of surprised me. I guess. Like I was like, oh, I wasn't expecting that, but okay.
Being interrogated, Angela shows how much Kurt is lying about everything regarding Matt. And once Angela reveals that the DNA is a match, that's when Kurt wants a lawyer. Do we
Mhm.
want to save all of the Kurt interrogation stuff until we get to the scene of where he explains what happened to Iris? Or do you have
Yes.
stuff
Yeah.
here?
No, because that will tie into what I was talking about
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
earlier with a
Mm-hmm.
little tie-in. So yeah, I'd rather keep it all to the end.
Okay. As Harrison is finishing up a shift, a gentleman who, do we want to agree here? This guy is Elric Kane. Do you know who Elric Kane
I don't know.
is?
No.
That's the name of the check that Dexter finds in Kurt's office. It's written out to an Elric Kane. Because this
Oh.
is the same guy, I'm 99% sure of this. This is the same guy Molly and Angela saw at the hotel
Yeah.
when Matt was checking out. Okay.
I'm like 99.99% certain that it was, so it probably wasn't. But I'm like I agree with you. So,
So I'm thinking that Kurt pays this guy as a minion to do some of this stuff.
but why just
Hmm.
I thought wait, I thought the check was to Kurt from somebody.
Mm-mm. It was
Am I wrong?
It was yes. It was Kurt written out to. It was Kurt handing someone a check to Elric Kane for $5,000, and also marked December 23rd, which is this Thursday.
Oh, I thought Dexter said why is Kurt getting $5,000 from an Elric
Why is he
whatever
giving?
his name.
Why is he giving?
Oh, I thought he said getting, and I was like,
No,
oh damn it.
you see where the check where it's yeah.
Okay, I didn't look that closely on it. I guess when it went onto the screen, so I thought
And
he said getting.
so
Okay. Hmm.
we're to assume that this is the same guy that was in the hotel. This is the
Now
guy
that
who
makes more
gives the
sense. Yep.
envelope to Harrison, and at the end of the episode, it's the guy who kidnaps Dexter.
Correct. Yes.
So I think logic would have us that.
That's him. Yeah.
Mhm.
I just had a whole nother thing because I thought it was Kurt getting 5,000 from somebody, and I was like, oh, now this is gonna. I'll go ahead and say my little theory because I was like, I've kind of had the theory that Olsen twins' dad is still involved somehow in this. That I was like, oh, he's getting money from these outside people somehow, and this is what's going to come up. But now, obviously, that theory's more shot to shit. So,
And just to be clear, and just to recap, everyone, you still don't think Kurt's the killer, right?
yeah, no, there's no way. We don't have any proof.
It's his dad, right? Yeah.
Yeah, we actually have proof. There was only 60% probability. So, and that flashback that he's having, that's his flashback. That's his truth. It's not the truth.
Oh
So,
God. So this guy Elric, we're gonna assume this is Elric, gives the envelope to Harrison, who passes it to Dexter, and we find out Dexter connects that this is the titanium. Well, actually, he doesn't. It is afterwards, but this is the titanium screw from Matt. I am 99% positive, and I don't. If you had $1 for every time I said 99%, you said in the first episode, I bet you that Scar comes back. I think you
I
did.
100%
Yeah,
did. I didn't
yeah.
know it'd come back this way, but I was like, they're making this a big point for a reason,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah.
Yeah. So this prompts Dexter, and I think we've heard about this in the previous episode that I think her name was Mrs. Gross, because when excuse me, when Teddy says it off camera, he says Mrs. Gross sheeps are out again, but Dexter essentially opens her sheep to let the sheep around town to basically
Mhm.
empty out Iron Lake
Correct.
Police Department,
Police player. Yeah.
Iron Lake Metro, so Dexter could go in and talk to Kurt. A little bit of a logic leap, but we're Dexter. We're here.
I'll let this one slide just because I'm like, you know what? This is a
Small town.
police department. Yeah, it's a police department of a staff of 3 people. Okay, you
Yeah.
know what? I'll let this one slide. Actually,
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
So Kurt and Dexter have this talk, and Kurt reveals that at the very least, he suspects Dexter of having something to do with Math's death.
Yes.
So, correct me where I'm wrong. We're led to believe Dexter picked up Kurt at Iron Lake Tavern. When Kurt got home and realized it was ashes on his jacket and not snow, that Dexter had something to do with Matt. This is as
Well,
silly
yeah.
to you as it is to me, yes? So far?
Yeah. No. 100%. No. 100%. I wouldn't. This was one of the things where I was like, really, they're connecting it this way. I was like, okay.
I feel like they're taking the audience's angle in writing the story and not the character's angle, because we know this, but why? First of all, if I get really deep here, that is not how, when someone's cremated, the air is just not full of ashes. That's not how that works. Secondly, and more
To be
importantly,
fair, though, this isn't a normal crematorium. So
right.
this is the communal crematorium. So the filter system's probably not as good.
And more so, even more so, it doesn't. If I'm getting to get real nerdy here in terms of my occupation, it would never get hot enough to cremate his body. And even at the hottest temperatures that you can cremate a body, all that's left over afterwards is skeleton. And that skeleton is pulverized and processed and crushed to hand you cremated remains. I've said this, you've heard me say this a million times if you've
It's like sand.
it's like crushed seashells. It's not ashes.
Seashells. Yeah.
Why this would be floating all over Iron Lake? Fine. Let's just accept it and go with the code. Let's accept that cremation just has ashes flying everywhere. Fine. I don't get, and I need help. I need help connecting. Why would Kurt suspect Dexter of this on that night? I don't get it. I really don't
Well,
get it.
I'm not even okay. No. Because I'm gonna. I'm gonna be. I'm even. I'm so sorry, all the listeners right now, because I'm about to be even more nitpicking on this, because not only what I'm like, okay, so he saw there was ashes. Let's take this. This is a communal burn, whatever. He threw the body in there and stuff like that. There should be ashes on a fairly regular basis then of people throwing in shit, right?
That's a good point.
Like, I just got done moving in here. You know how much trash and how much shit I had to get rid of? I don't have a communal burnout 5000 that I can throw stuff into. If I did, it would be amazing. And throwing in a whole bunch of like furniture you don't want anymore or something like that, there would be ash all over this town the entire year. So how is it that he's sitting there wiping it? Oh, that's Matt. I know it. Like, really? Like, how is it that you figured that out? Not only on top of that, so Dexter's the one that picks you up, so therefore he had to have come from the crematorium, and therefore he's the one that killed Matt. How do you know that Matt wasn't killed by the person that was burning shit 2 seconds prior to that, or something like that? Like, there's a whole. I'm agreeing with you 100%. He came to this conclusion on the most weirdest way possible, and that makes no sense to me, but we can't convict somebody because it's a 60% probability it's his DNA. So okay.
And I'm willing to take all of this back if they are doing see that Chucky said earlier, and the thing is, like, unless they're setting up so much to happen in these final 3 episodes that Kurt knows other stuff that we don't know yet, we're not privy to. But as it currently
Okay, fair enough.
as it currently stands at the end of episode 7 is just, it's a weird way to tell us that Kurt knows what happened to Matt via Dexter, via ashes on his jacket. Just is very odd.
Makes no sense.
Yep, and we'll I'm glad we agree, because I couldn't handle an actual explanation.
And this is only part one of my biggest
Oh
complaints
yeah,
of this. This
there's
is
more.
even
There's
my.
more.
Oh, okay. I was like saying I have a much bigger one in a minute, so
The
this
next
is definitely a big one though.
the next day, Kurt wants to make a statement, and we get some backstory to
Like
this
right,
while
my
we get
biggest complaint.
some story. Well, there's a lot here,
Yeah, let's do
and
it. Yeah, yeah. There's a lot. There's a lot.
so this starts out that Kurt explains when he was little what his dad used to do.
Hmm.
Me and Marissa both laughed at the term lot lizards. That Kurt's dad used to
You've never heard that term before?
never heard that term, and
Really? Oh,
the way
okay.
me and Marissa operate, all we're gonna be doing the next week is calling our son a lot lizard. um,
Have you? I'm really surprised you've never heard that term. I guess I've known too many truckers and stuff like that, so I've heard the term lot lizard a ton. Yeah.
so this is where this is where
God, I'm gonna laugh whenever I hear y'all say that.
this is where we have, to me, I feel like this is Trinity 2.0, where
Mhm.
little Kurt was seeing what his dad did, picking up these women, beating the shit out of them, releasing them, scarred him as a kid. He gets interrupted, like, hey, that's not why we're here. Right. So Kurt tells the story that when he was young, 25 years ago, which I don't think his age matches up, but fine.
Yeah, let's let that. Yeah, I'll let that slide.
He was working at the truck stop, gassing up his truck. He saw Iris getting to his father's vehicle. That's the last he knew about it. And they show it, and they're showing it on screen, and that's how they show where the bite mark came from. Turns out the DNA is only 67% probability that it's Kurt, and then Kurt gets loose.
Mhm.
So, fine. How are you going to get someone appropriately aged to match younger Kurt? Fine. It's a little confusing at first because Kurt's telling the story that he thinks this was his dad, but whatnot. I was surprised, and I shouldn't have been. I was surprised that Kurt was able to be let go. And this is why I was like, I'm surprised the cabin is not coming back into the mix here.
Mhm.
But you have to let Kurt out because you can't have 3 episodes of him in jail and Dexter having to open the sheep every episode for him to talk. Last thing I want to again, it sounds like you're at the gate barking, waiting for me to open the gate so you can get out and just fucking rip this. So let me say one more thing because
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I think I have a little fatigue of ripping stuff from the episode.
Okay.
I thought it was a nice move to have Kurt, once he gets let out, sort of go to Angela and be like, hey, I'm sorry for your loss. Like, such an arrogant prick move.
When he puts out that hand.
Yeah.
Oh my
I was
God.
like, you know what? That's a nice way to make this. We know the town mayor, but we also know how much of a dick he is and how arrogant he is.
Mhm.
With all that being said, co-host of the Dig and Dexter podcast, Colton, the floor is yours.
Okay. So I'm gonna start with the good. Okay. I'll go ahead and give the little bit of a good that I actually have with this story because this is my biggest complaint is this whole scene. Good on it that I did like. I like the where it's like my dad. I saw my dad pick her up and stuff like that. As he's telling the story, I like that we're actually seeing what really happened. I thought that was kind of a cool little touch where it's like, oh, we can hear his voiceover is a lie, but we're seeing what really happened. You don't see that very often. Like normally, especially in this show where voiceovers are used, like the voiceover itself is a character basically. The voiceover was being used in a different way. I thought that was actually kind of neat.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm giving credit for that. I thought that was a really cool little thing that they were doing. What I don't understand and what I don't like about this is okay, so your dad is a piece of shit. Okay, fine. He's picking up a lot lizards. And he's sleeping with him and he's hitting him and stuff like that, but it never says anything about him murdering anybody. Now, maybe something will come up later that we find out his dad used to murder people or something like that. But as of right now, dad didn't kill anybody, so we can't connect that to the whole Trinity killing and stuff like that. It's just you're living a really really shitty childhood in a cab of a truck watching your dad beat up hookers. Okay, well then you pick up a girl who you're trying to protect by saying you need to go home, and she decides to run away from you. So your first item of self defense is let me pull out my rifle and shoot her in the fucking back. And then we already know that she doesn't die from that. So let me put rocks on her in a cave. That's that's how you get to this like killing. That makes no sense to me. Like, and again, I'm getting a little bit. Maybe I'm being too much on this, but like a lot of like real life serial killers, their first kills are, and I'm putting quotations on this for the podcast. I can't see it, but a lot of like really famous serial killers, their first kills are accidental. Okay, so a lot of people like John Wayne Gacy, right? John Wayne Gacy is a very famous serial killer. His first kill was he picked up this young boy. He was a hooker or whatever. They had sex all night and stuff like that. The next morning, the boy made him breakfast and was bringing it in bed to him. And he claims that he thought it was the boy was coming in to rob him, and so he jumped on him and he stabbed him and he killed him, and that's how his first kill happened. It was an accident, and then he went on to keep killing. Obviously, that's not a real accident or anything like that, right? What Kirk did in this isn't even an accident. You can't even like quote unquote claim, well, the rifle accidentally went off. This girl's running, and I pull out my gun with a laser and a scope on it, which I'm not even going to get into the whole laser thing at the time period because that would be me going over the top. But you're doing all of this, and you shoot her in the back. Like none of this makes any sense. Like this is the worst attempt to start this kill cycle, if you want to call it that, in the show that I've ever seen. Like Trinity's made sense. Like his made sense, and I know I'm going on a tangent on this, but this like I seriously got done when I got done with this and they ended that cutscene out loud. I went, "Are you fucking serious?" Like I was pissed. Like I out loud. Meg probably heard me from downstairs. I was like, "Are you fucking serious? This is what I've waited for? Like this is it? Okay. Well,
I have
that's
to
fun."
assume because like in the chat Jacob saying like this is the birth of the ritual, and I don't agree with that because I
No.
don't think we got any like we just
How is
got
this a ritual?
we
Like
just
this isn't. He doesn't pick up these girls in his semi truck on the side of the road. He gives them a job and then he takes them out to his cabin and gives them champagne and then shoots them in the fucking back. That's not a ritual. Like
well
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Like it.
no I
Ooh.
I meant more of like we don't get an explanation. We just get that he did this. I think this was his first one, Kurt, but
I agree to that.
if I'm making a math equation and
I mean, no, he didn't kill anybody. He hasn't killed it. This is Olsen's first. Yes.
oh my god, I'm so sorry. Um, what I mean is, if we're doing a math equation and it's blank plus blank equals, I don't think we have enough information to say when Kurt was a little kid he watched his dad beat up lizards, plus Kurt took that when he was older and created this ritual equals Kurt captures women, puts them in his bunker, kills them, and then embalms them. Like none of that
None of
equates
this
to
makes.
each other at the moment, and I am hoping that we get an explanation. I hope this isn't it because I'm with you. This
We
is not
better.
an
We better.
this
We
is not
have.
an explanation. This is just like telling us stuff that happened once upon a time. You know.
If the killer in this had been somebody that he like chains up people like, and I'm sorry if this is gonna ruin the movie for you if you have not seen what's it, Cloverfield, what is it, the
10,
more
10 Cloverfield Lane.
yes, if it, so spoiler if you haven't watched this, like, but if this was like the killer was somebody who's going around grabbing people and then putting them in a bunker and then yelling at them, "You don't understand, it's not safe out there, you're a lot lizard, you're gonna get killed," and then he's like chaining them and then they starve to death or something like that, I'd be like, okay, well now that this makes actually some sense. He's trying to save them in some psychopathic way or something like that. But that's not at all what happens. It's literally, you're not supposed to be out here by your own. Oh, you're running away. Bam! I'm gonna kill you because you can't be out here by yourself. I'm killing you for your safety. Like, that's really what his logic is. Like, it makes no fucking sense to me.
I have to assume we have more because I'm typing in the chat like I don't get how dad beating up lizards equals kill ritual. Like there's just I just don't see the connection. I'm surprised, and so eventually Kurt gets released. I'm surprised that Kurt is not held more just in terms of knowing this information this whole time. And if not, isn't there something there about he knew information about Matt while there was a search going on? Like, I don't know.
I mean, legality, I would think you could like.
Isn't that like just can't like whatever the term you can't say.
Didn't they just technically charge Jesse Smollett with? I mean, I'm not trying to get political in any way, but didn't they? I mean, kind of, because they like it was a manhunt for people that didn't need to be a manhunt.
I mean, if you want to discuss Biden's policy regarding refugees, no, I'm joking.
No, I don't. No, not at all.
It's just funny you said when you said I want to get politics. I think it's a little bit different. I just would imagine that there was there was a manhunt out there, and no one's like, and Angela has pretty much all of the facts that he lied about the FaceTime, he lied about the call, the cabin they went to, he said he was there. Like, is there no
police investigation or something?
Is there no like, hey, we had this missing persons huge, the whole town was searching, and you're lying about his whereabouts? Maybe not, let's move on from that. We spoke about it, but Dexter investigates Kurt's office, and he finds this check for $5,000 to Elric Kane here. I would like to think, and I think I want to, if everyone just want to give a thumbs up in the chat, I have to imagine Dexter shifting that plaque on the wall that was crooked is going to come back. Or did you not even realize? I was just like, oh, he's going to like tap the wall there, and he just didn't.
Yeah.
It's such an odd little scene that
I was like, oh, he's going to open that and the pin's going to drop out. Or, oh, he's going to open that. He's going to find like a flash drive of like, kills that he's done. Something like that. But then he just moves out. I was like, wait, that what?
Yeah, it just, nothing happens. And I was like, okay, I would imagine that comes back, but I don't know.
I would think so. It's got to. It's got to.
Weird placement if it doesn't come back. In what I would say is the most. It's funny. I feel like we get these every episode. Like there's stuff we don't like. There's stuff we do like. To me, this was the best scene of the episode, and it's what Angela and Molly are at Iron Lake Tavern after Kurt's released, and something that I'm pretty sure that never has happened in the 103 episodes of Dexter. This little white lie of why Dexter found the cabin, what he told to Angela, comes back to actually hurt Dexter. So as they're, just to re-explain to you if you've just watched the show, Molly's like, hey, I think it was really weird that Dexter showed up and his story of why he was there was weak. And Angel's like, well, no, Dexter said he overheard you guys talking and he got a bad feeling about Kurt. She's like, well, that's impossible. He's sitting where we are and here's, where the other guys are, and it's impossible to hear them.
And they were having like a legitimate fight. Like they were yelling at each other.
You heard words, but you couldn't hear what the words were.
What they were saying,
right.
Yeah.
So me, in an episode of we're talking about, I don't know if you call them plot holes or just logic leaps, etc. I like Molly here just being like, no, that never happened. Everything he just told you is a lie. There's no reason why he would have overheard us unless he charged us, unless he's creepy. And like she said, go with your gut. Like, why would he sit there and record them? Because Dexter, earlier in the episode, when Angela's like, "You overheard them," and Dexter goes, "Crystal clear." I would like to think this amps up some of that. Who is Dexter Morgan really? It was just, you know what it is. It's like one of the rare times in the Dexter show when you have two people telling the truth, and it like affecting the show. I don't know. I can't explain it, but like Dexter always gets away with these lies. I was just here because I was checking on you, Harrison. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But he was really there for Kurt.
oh, I happened to be walking by and I just came
yeah,
in.
yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah. So I'm just glad that there was some of that realism or hiding the exposing the lies, and it's such an off thing that, of course, Dexter would look like the hero. He saved Molly. Kurt could have killed Molly. Why would you question Dexter's motives unless you think he's a creep? And like she said, he ain't got nothing to hide. You're the chief of police. What would he have to hide from you? But we know that
which
she
was a
knows.
little strange she said that, but I kind of wonder if she said that tongue in cheek in a way.
Great point, because yes, is she saying like, yeah, that's a great point that like, yeah. Yeah, she says if I would do a deep dive on him, which makes me think she's going to.
Yeah,
And
I kind of.
I don't
say
think
that
I don't think there's
she's supposedly what, the most famous crime history podcaster in the world, according to this show right now, or most popular, or whatever.
this
You've done enough
podcast. We
stuff.
are
Yeah,
the Dig and
this
Dexter podcast. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm just like, how many killers have you done where the boyfriend ends up being the person that killed people or did something, and then your response is, well, he's your boyfriend. If he wasn't your boyfriend, I would think stuff. I mean, if think weirder, but you're the chief of police, and I'm just like, you've got to be saying that tongue in cheek. There's no way that you're that dense of a person. I mean, to be fair, you almost got murdered by Kurt, and you went.
And she
against
said it.
all.
And she said it. She was like, I ignored every clue. I ignored every clue. I tell my listeners to listen. Going with an old weird creep man to a cabin in the woods. Something you just said that just sparked a thought in my head.
That's why I'm kind of like, I think she intentionally said. I kind of think Molly's gonna have a little bit bigger part in the next episode.
Sure.
I kind of think so. I mean, we only have 2 more episodes. So.
Three.
Three. Sorry, 3.
Let me say this, and now that I'm thinking about it, it's so funny. If Angela Bishop, chief of Iron Lake Metro, 10 years, I guess 14 years after the initial Bay Harbor Butcher case closed, is able to find out that Dexter's the Bay Harbor Butcher, how more incompetent can you make Miami Metro look if this woman, 14 years, X amount of states, 3,000 plus miles away, is that far? I don't forget how many miles is Florida, New York.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Is able to find out who this was. You have to make Miami Metro look so incompetent that Dexter was sitting in that chair, feet from them, and no one knew. But Angela, 14 years after the fact, can find out who it is. God, that would be such a great way of slapping the 8 seasons of Miami Metro. Oh, God, that'd be so funny if that happens.
It'd be hilarious. She just goes down there and she takes a job because that job's opening since our police, our chief of police just got fired the fuck from that place. So
they should just shut it the same way. The same way Toys R Us went out of business, Miami Metro should just go out of business. Like, there's a new police department.
Hey, we're not even calling it Miami. Actually, it's in the city of Miami. We're just calling it M Police. We've rebranded.
Oh God. Towards the end of the episode, Harrison is about to be attacked by the other wrestling team of the kids. Army broke in. Harrison pulls out the scalpel, slices one of their coats, and just in the nick of time, as Harrison's probably about to possibly kill someone, Dexter grabs his arm and stops it and goes along. And we get, in what I never pictured, John Lithgow coming back for a scene. I'm 99%
laughed.
positive this is one of his.
If this is
I think this is one of 2 appearances.
Oh, okay. I was like, if this is it, I'm dying laughing. I'm like, Showtime played all these people on Reddit, all these people that I saw like randomly, like when I would be scrolling on Reddit, because like I said, I'm not following this shit anymore. Where they're like, no, he's gonna be the new Dark Passenger. He's gonna be doing this. I was like, he literally says, tap tap tap, it'll be okay. Your dad's coming, and then that's it. I was like, yes, trolled him.
So all of this is coming because Harrison is like, hey, I always feel like I want to hurt somebody. And I thought they were nightmares, but it turns out I remember everything from when I was 10 months old. I actually think he was younger than that because depending on how much of season 5, I could go through the notes here of Zach. Oh, we got to reach out to Zach, by the way. So
I mean, he's under a year. We know for a fact he's under a year.
For a fact, he's under a year. So however long you think season 5 takes place, he's minus that, right? Because season 5 immediately rolls into there. So Harrison remembers all of this. I want to sit here and start a whole conversation about how absurd that is. I think in order for Harrison to have any meat this season, you have to have him do this. He has to have like some memory of it.
I mean, I want to complain about it, but how old was Dexter when his mom was killed?
I think he was 2 or 3 years old. It works out for him. No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Either way, I want to complain on it, but that is
in reality, there's no way Harrison could remember.
But correct.
To your point, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
We have to give something to Harrison besides just never wanting to talk to Dexter and only wanting to work at
This is gladly something I'll look past. This is a nitpick I'll 100% look past.
When the scene first occurred and, we see Trinity getting out of the bathtub, my first thought was, wow, we've never seen this angle of Rita's death. They've played that scene over quite a few times. Dexter will get flashbacks, even we saw earlier this season. But what we very creepily get is once he got out of the bathtub, just sort of patted.
When he gets out of the bathtub
and he's bloody.
I was like, that's creepy as fuck.
I wish
like he's not
I wish there was shorter
in a way. Like
it
was good. Good scene. Good scene.
It's funny. I'm trying to think what movie am I actually Avengers Endgame, where they show the same events that happen just from another angle, and you're like, oh my god, I have never seen that angle of what was happening. Like, we've never seen anything outside of Dexter walking in, seeing her, going to pick up Harrison in blood. Was interesting to see the other angle of this. To your point of this being a troll job, I would have to assume John Lithgow did not come back just to do this scene.
If he did, I'm going to love it. And I will nominate him for a Golden Globe for this one scene just for that. Like, yes. I'm just saying. If that's really what happens, if he's not in anymore, I'm not even mad. I think it's hilarious.
So let me say this if you're listening only on the podcast, this is a little tease to join us on the live stream. If you remember what I said about the spoiler before the recording started, this is also why I think he comes back at this scene as a right.
Gotcha. Okay.
And finally, so Harrison and Dexter are fighting, and again, if they just talked, if one of them just wasn't always running away, I feel like we could have solved so much. As the episode ends, Dexter heading to his car. Dexter now says, I have to tell Harrison everything. And as he goes to his car, captured, end of episode. Other stuff.
Has he been captured before? Besides the Masuka one where he headbutts him for the birthday thing or the bachelor party, has he been kidnapped before?
So
I feel like he has, right?
yes, season 7, episode 4. It was a run where that guy was sort of like has like saw mazes in his house.
That's right. Okay, that's right.
I'm
Yeah.
trying to
Okay.
think if he's other. I guess he was captured by Liddy in season 5. He gets tasered and then he gets thrown in the back of the van. Um,
I don't. Yeah, that's not quite the same.
no, I'm just trying to
Like,
think. Oh, I guess he was captured by the Skinner. He was on the table at the end of season 3. Um,
that's right. That's the first one. That's more what I'm thinking. I was like, this kind of reminded me of something. I think that's what it
he
was.
was captured by Jordan Chase at season 5.
Okay, so he's captured a bunch. Okay, never mind.
No, but at the car is most reminiscent season 3, captured by Masuka, and it turns out to be his bachelor party.
Hmm.
Um,
Okay.
oh, I guess he was. I guess Travis Marshall when he got him at the boat. Yeah, so I guess
Right.
I didn't even realize how many times he's been captured. That's a good point. And that's where our episode ends. A little bit of a cliffhanger. Stuff you want to add to this episode that we haven't discussed?
Nope.
Overall, I'm a little weary of where this season is headed. I hope we get some
Yeah.
better clarifications, but I tell you what, as a man with limited time and the way I do these episodes, I watch it at midnight and right after my son goes to bed, I watch it again. If you're going to have big plot holes and leaps of logic like this, at least make these episodes 45 minutes like this episode was. Don't fucking make it an hour. And dude,
Yeah.
let me say one more thing. With what we're seeing now, what a great call of it being 10 episodes. Could you imagine this was 12 episodes? How much filler we'd have? It would be really bad, dude. If this is all they came up with for 10 episodes and we're 7 episodes in,
We would have 19 different versions of Harrison wrestling matches. Um, we would have Dexter eating pie at least 5 more times. Which who the fuck eats a Boston cream pie with their hands? I had to ask that. That's what I'm nitpicking on. When he eats it with who? Okay. Mm-mm. What else would we have? We would have a bunch of other
there
random
would be
shit
a
that I would
lot
just.
there would be a lot more Kurt courting these
I feel like
girls.
there would be that, and I feel like we would have a lot more of Harrison and the Angela's daughter. I cannot think of her name. I'm
Audrey.
so sorry. Audrey, we'd have a lot more of this teen romance thing, which I'm glad that we're getting just a little like a little taste of it, and it's just like going away. And I'm like, okay, that's cool because this isn't a TV show for this isn't what is it? Dawson's Creek or something like that. Like it's okay, cool. They have this little bit of backstory, and it's just the right amount, and then that's it. So yeah.
Um and before we end the podcast, because now we're getting towards the end of the season where we want to do callbacks of stuff we said. Jacob saying in the chat that this season is headed towards Harrison killing Dexter.
I still don't. I still don't
I've
think
thought
that.
that since episode 1. I think the only way this season ends is with Harrison killing Dexter. I pulled back, and I thought that Dexter at least has to die. If Dexter dies, and God bless the show if they don't kill him, if Dexter dies, I think it's going to be by Harrison's hand, which completely goes against
Okay.
everything we spoke about in the beginning, but fine.
If he dies by Harrison, it has to be more like a sacrifice type of situation or a legitimate. In my head, how I'm taking this, like a legitimate accident or something like that. Yeah, I don't. I don't know how you work that
Dude,
in.
if it's an
I don't.
accident, I'll fucking be so no. Like it can't be an accident.
No, I'm just saying like, and
I'm
I'm
not.
trying to say like, yeah, but it's I don't want to see if spoiler alert for Mr. Brooks, if you have, and this isn't a spoiler, what am I fucking talking about? I don't want to see all of Mr. Brooks where it's Dexter opening his eyes and he's getting stabbed in the throat with a pair of scissors or something like that, cut to black or some shit. No, I don't want to see that.
Much like the way they show Harrison suiting up in this episode, which I thought it was a cute little scene. I
Yeah,
think
I like that.
if you're going to have Harrison kill Dexter, it has to be the ultimate fan service. Harrison with the kill room, some photos. You have to go deep,
I've known this whole
deep,
time who
deep
you
on the
are
fan
and something like
service and give us the Dexter on the table do the fucking cheek
I think I'm
slice
the minority.
all the
I
way.
don't want. I don't want it. I don't
Oh,
want
oh,
that.
hold on. Let me say that. Let me say this. I am not necessarily sure if I want that. I just feel like
Oh, okay, okay.
this is the
I'm happy. I will say this: if that's how they do it, I'm happier with that than Lumberjack Dexter. I'm still happy. I will be happier with that than Lumber. I won't be happy, but I'll be happier with that than Lumberjack Dexter.
yeah, I am
Yeah.
when my child wakes up at 4 a.m. and doesn't go to bed for an hour and a half, I'm happier with that than I was at the ending of season 8 of Dexter. Like the season 8 of Dexter was just so terrible. All right, let's end this episode. We will be back next week, the day after Christmas. Merry Christmas again, everyone again,
Mhm.
to Unfair Game, which will also be our last podcast of 2021. So,
Oh my god.
everyone in the chat, thank you. You've all been awesome again. And we will talk to you next week.
Sounds good. See y'all then.
All right, I'm stopping Audacity. Oh, now I can talk to the chat here. Yeah, Jacob.
That was a nice one. We were right at an hour. That was
yeah,
good.
that's great. I'm still wondering what's his snow tractor's name. I don't know what you mean by that, Robert. Are you talking about his little buggy that he pulls up in the episode with? Jen, what are we gonna do when this is finished? I'm gonna get my Sunday nights back. I've been saying this. This is a lot of fun. I'm always gonna miss this hour of recording, but it's the editing before. It's doing the notes and clipping everything before. Every Sunday Zoom calls. I still need to figure out how we're gonna do the finale and what we're gonna do, but
I'm gonna get a flight ticket into Miami. A red eye. I'll come in, record, and then head right back. There's no way Meg will let me stay the night.
I am curious too, if they show Miami Metro at all, but I don't know. Too much stuff to think about.
This is not good, dude. My
Oh no.
Audacity is not responding right now. It says it's not responding. I went to go try to save it, so I'm just letting it sit. I'm just letting it sit for a minute, like maybe.
The only thing that stinks is I did not record on Zencaster.
I'm hoping that
I
God
totally
forbid,
forgot to.
worst case scenario, if it cuts off, I will say this: Audacity is really good
At recovering.
So
I mean, let it.
I'm just letting it sit for a minute right now.
And then, if anything, it sucks because, they make you wait like 24 hours, but I could download the video and get the audio from there. But hopefully it recovers your shit.
I'm just waiting right now. I'm just gonna wait a minute. Just see
wait like 5 minutes, because after that it's just not gonna happen.
Yeah.
So now really talking inside the chat here. That guy, I swore I knew who you were, but the person I thought who you were said they weren't who you were. So
hey, it's working. Got it going. Sorry. I knew you'd like to hear that. That would make you feel a little better all of a sudden. So, all right, we're good. Desktops.
That's finding out that work was canceled. That's a snow day. Yeah, we had some different people that I have not seen before in the chat.
We're getting a lot more people, and I love it. Are you? I've meant to ask you this. Are you a public speaker? Like can you speak in public?
I mean,
like, are you like not like are you out there like giving motivational speeches or something like that? But
I mean, like I have to get up in front of rooms and at cemeteries and talk, but I'm not like freestyling it.
You're not giving this. Yeah, but you're not the speaker. You're like, will the family go this way, and will the like?
Yeah, I kind of give like instructions, tell people where to go, what to do, and that. I'm not like, yeah, Mr. Smith was a lovely man.
Right.
Yeah.
The only reason I ask is because I'm not a big public speaker. Like I'm not terrified of it. I have given a couple. I've had a job before where, what my old main job where I would have to talk in front of like audiences of like 50 people, and I would have to do like classes and stuff like that on that. But it was also like material that was it was the same thing again and again and again, kind of like what you're saying. It's more instruction, but it was like an hour long class. Anyways, I say that because when you were telling me, it's like I see how many people are in here. I'm not acting different. I'm just like, it's not. This sounds weird to the, and I'm not saying that that people commenting aren't real, but I'm like, it's not real. It's just you and me talking.
Well,
Like it doesn't seem as nerve wracking. I
you know what it
guess I
is.
don't
We're
know.
not like in a room and we have an audience, because
Yes, that's what
if
it.
people like yelled out like, Victor, you suck, it would like mess up my train of thought. While I'm doing this, I'm able to talk, read in the chat, and then like, you know, take it and just say. And if it's like a relevant comment, I feel like I've gotten better of being like, oh, and Jacob just said in the chat, Colton's wrong about everything. Like, it's just like the way I'm just like able.
You just look for any comment with
Yeah.
Colton. Colton's a piece of shit. This Colton.
Dude, I think you offended that guy. He said I'm real. What the hell?
Are you though? I didn't see that woman comment much. And
Yeah.
it's kind of like that guy was just was taking up too much of his time and couldn't log back in with the other comment.
Busted.
Eh.
Where are all you guys? I have to say, Victor's podcast skills have greatly improved since the first few episodes. Oh my god, I have to go listen to this. I remember recording those first few episodes of 6 Feet Under. I recorded the first episode probably 10 times in one day, and
I've told you what I thought you looked like, right? Have I ever told you that? Like, when you hear somebody's voice in your head and you're like, this is what this person looks like and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, because I've told you, like, I started listening. I started listening to you when you were doing that, and I randomly came across that podcast. But the first, I remembered, I will never forget listening to your first episode. And I just gotten done doing some work, and I was driving away, and I was like, oh, I've always wanted to listen to a podcast about 6 feet under. Oh, here's us digging 6 feet under. That'll be kind of cool. Play, and I hit play, and I hear, this is Victor Rubio. And I was just like, who? And you were like, I'm a funeral director, and I've done some other and I was just like, who's this 50-year-old guy making podcasts about 6 feet under? And in my head, I'm imagining like this guy with like glasses. You weigh about you're 6 foot tall. You weigh about 105 pounds. You've got these glasses on. Your hair's like perfectly combed, and I'm like, this guy looks like like a creepy politician. And then when I finally saw a photo of you, I was like, that's that guy. Wait, what?
What a fat loser he is. Um, um, yeah. Oh my God, Roxanne agrees with you. So listen, those first, I think, probably the first season, I took the podcast so serious. I think the first few episodes I did by myself, and I recorded it.
Yeah. Which,
The first one,
by the way, kudos on that.
the
Yeah.
first one I recorded like 10 times, and I would send each one out to some of my friends. I would choose different friends to send it to. Like, hey man, I just recorded this. What do you think? And this one would be like, oh, you sound too serious. You sound too this. But I edited out every anything that sounded. Um, if you've ever heard radio people doing live spots, because radio now will have, or podcast rather, the show's happening and then it cuts. Hey guys, I just want to take a minute and talk to you about Manscaped. Manscaped.com has the freshest shaving, or
Yeah.
market fresh, whatever. That was me doing that with with the podcast, and I'd be like 10 minutes into it. So then here we see Nate and fuck, and I'd have to go delete the whole thing, and I do it all again. Misery doing those first episodes. That's really funny.
The first season of bootlegging, I remember when I would edit. after we would get done doing it, I would edit for about 4 hours,
Yeah.
and I would sit there and look at Audacity and look at each because I've memorized what looked like on Audacity, and I just go through highlight,
Dude,
delete,
that's so
and
funny. That is
I would
such
just sit there.
that is how memes get created. I know what the word sounds like while editing. I know exactly what you're talking about. That's so funny.
And I would just sit there and do that, and then I would be like, "Oh, well, this is a quiet space. It's a little too long, but I don't want to have it too short. Let me do this." And then by like, I think it was like season 4, I was just like, "Fuck this! I don't care, dude." So then Nucky and I'm gonna it's just like whatever. Ah,
Wow, Dylan in the chat saying that first season was a little rough. I always thought like I got better after the first few episodes, but now you guys are gonna make me want to go listen. To be fair, I've never ever done anything analyzing. Um, that's so funny. I have to go back and listen now.
I don't I listen I did listen to the first season of bootlegging. What was it? Or the first episode, not the first season. The first episode, I think it was like right at a year ago, and I was just like, "Holy shit! Like, I cannot believe this is what I used to sound like." Okay. Hmm.
Um,
It is saved. I'm gonna email this over to you
yes.
now.
You know what I was thinking? People in the chat, I just real like your voice memos. If you have iPhones, record stuff rather well. I would just trying to think of how to get people involved. I'm almost thinking of something like sending in clips of what you thought of the finale, because we're assuming that there's going to be this rocking finale. Maybe
Hmm.
people sending in clips, and I can sort of put it together. Um,
I'm not opposed to that.
but I think it's the only way to get everyone involved and try to give people certain time. Um, we have so much technical difficulties, just me and Colton doing this, and we've only done this for what 12 plus 7, 19 episodes of just
Hmm.
podcasting with the live stream. And it's always a bitch once we get a third person in here. I'm talking to you, Marissa. Yeah. So if Jacob's down, let me know if you guys would want to do something like that where we can maybe you guys send stuff in and I could edit that in.
That would actually be kind of interesting.
I guess you would have all of Sun if you have to basically you would have to do this.
Do it like a limit. Be like, you have 30 seconds. If your thing is over 30 seconds, I'm not putting it on.
No, no. What
Or a
happens is
minute or
the
something like
episodes
that.
the episodes drop at midnight Eastern time.
Hmm.
You basically have until like 8 p.m. ish to get your clip into me so I can edit it. Don't make it
Okay.
17 minutes long. Something that you could enter your thoughts on it and that me and Colton can go off of. Yeah, I don't want to put a time clip because just don't be 10 minutes long is all. That's not a bad idea.
I'd
Maybe
be
I'll
kind
bring I'll bring that up next episode.
That'd actually be kind of cool, yeah, if we could find a way you could do an audio thing, and then even if we listen to, I'd actually be kind of down for that, where you and me like get together an hour before we record, and we're like, hey, like let's just listen to these really quick. I'd actually be kind of down for that.
So like Robert's in the chat saying do one for every episode. What you're seeing right now and what you're getting is me very close to the limit of what I could do. So to do this for every episode is so much work for me, and I just can't. Um, but for the finale, and I'm assuming it's going to be the last one, I would like to do a little bit above what we do for everything. Um, so I think that might work. Let me think about it over the week, and then next week's episode we could kind of air it out
So
there
let's see.
what we
We
want.
have what 3 episodes left.
Yeah, we got
At
January. We got December 26th, and then what? January 2nd and
January.
January 9th.
I'm gonna do a GoFundMe. All right, if I do it, ooh, I'll do a GoFundMe. GoFundMe, give me a ticket. a round trip ticket to Victor's. I'm gonna fly to Fort Lauderdale. There we go. I just got to get permission from Meg first.
The GoFundMe is to get permission from Meg. It's not even for the ticket.
It's not even for the ticket.
Oh god, that's funny. Um,
She'll probably be like, yeah, you can go with Grace.
it's she turns it into a vacation for her. Oh, that's funny.
It's vacation. She's just straight up staying here by herself. She's like, this is amazing. Damn it.
All right, so I got your clip, Colton, and what that means for everyone else in the chat. Appreciate you guys so much. We have 3 more of these. You honestly make this 10 times funner than it ever is if this was just me and Colton talking like we did all the other episodes. I will try to get Marissa on for the last episode, and I will more so try to figure out how to do this with you guys sending your clips about the episode, and I think we all want to set up like a theme, whether it's what you thought about the season in whole or what you thought about the finale, and figure out a way to use that for the episode and give us talking points. And yeah, I think that's
I think it'll be fun. I'm excited. I'm really excited. I think that'll be cool.
All right, guys. Thank you all for joining us. Anyone that's still watching us, thank you. I can't say enough. That guy, screw you.
Fuck you. On that, we're out. I'm out.
Later.
Later.
Bye, guys.